What is up, guys, and welcome back to the channel. My name is Travis. Of course, you're watching TWA Motorsports. Today, we're gonna address a few other issues in the Tahoe. So you guys heard it run in the last video. Still in the process of getting a base tune so it will like idle and at least get out on the road so we can make sure that the transmission's full. We can go ahead and top off all the coolant, get the system burped. But right now it's like shutting off. It'll idle for maybe, I don't know, 30 seconds, and then the idle's just not high enough and it'll die. I mean, I could set the idle up, but I'm gonna leave that to the professionals. But anyway, in this video, we've got a couple things that I wanna address while I'm waiting on all that, and it's stuff that I can go ahead and do. One of which, turn the light on here. So my coilovers, guys, when I ordered these, he was out of stock of the coils that he normally uses. Well, now he has them. And so we're gonna be switching those out to get this, hopefully, a little better ride. It's kind of bumpier than I'd like. And I've adjusted the settings a couple clicks either side of what he recommended. And it's still just a little bouncy for me. So we're gonna be replacing those coils. I've got those Viking boxes right there. Those will be the new coils. But the other thing I wanna do while it's up in the air is the ABS module is broken in this thing. I'm sure you guys saw that when you were when I started it up. It says please service ABS. So in today's video too, we're going to see if we can swing this guy out of the way, which I bet there's a lock somewhere. Well, I say that. This is all these brake modules are different, but what we need to do is we need to take the Torx out of the top of this. I've got to see what size those are, but I think there's two plugs. I think there's a plug here, and I want to say there's one on the back, but maybe this unit doesn't have that. Either way, the solder breaks inside of these and causes them to fail, and you get the ABS code. So I'm going to send this off to circuit board medics, and hopefully, okay, I see now. So we just need to push that up. Let's see if we can pull this guy out of here. Sometimes the connections get gross too, so it could be a connection issue. We'll clean all that up, but I'm gonna send this off to circuit board medics, and I'll try to list their information in the description. I've used them for Tahoe tail lights before. They do a great job, and they're pretty quick turnaround. And I don't need this thing right now. Yeah, terminals all look fine. Let's see what size Torx that is that goes here. There should be 4 of them. It's actually a T15 is what this thing is. So I've got them started. These back ones are kind of hard to reach, but you're just gonna have to feel them. They're in the same spot, just on the opposite side. So get your T15s out, and then this should pull up. Pretty fine threaded screw, but once we do that, we should be able to push this thing up carefully. Work it up and off. Yeah, it looks like the seal wants to stay, but that's fine. All right. So mine only had one plug, that main plug. But so what happens is the solder breaks underneath this. So they cut it apart, reseal it, fix the solder, and then all we have to do is bolt it back in. So I'll probably leave that gasket there for now because we'll reuse it. I'll clean it up. It goes in this. But I don't want to chance it getting lost in shipping. So I'm going to wrap this thing up, ship it off to circuit board medics. I'm hoping that we can do this and it not be an issue, but literally all we should have to take out are the bottom bolt, and remember there's a spacer in there, and the top, and I'm hoping we can sneak this thing out of here. That's my hope anyway. But let's see if we can get those bolts unbolted, both top and bottom, and then the spring. Hopefully we've got enough fall in the suspension to get not only this one out, but the new one in. I did have to loosen the bottom bolt as well because it kind of sandwiches this bracket around, but now, there we go, it's coming out. I'm gonna need 2 hands for this. Let's pull this out, and we should be able to kind of push it down and get it out one way or the other, possibly out top. Now we got it set now. I'm gonna loosen up the jam nut here on the bottom, swing this down a little bit, and we should be able to get the top hat out and then pull the spring off. Once I've loosened that up and backed it all the way down, now we can pull the hat out of the top, and we'll just drag the spring off, go open the box, get the new spring. Now as far as the height goes, look pretty identical, but this is the new one we're replacing it with. It's supposed to be a little softer, I believe. Maybe it's stiffer, I don't know. I don't understand that part, but
he sent me these. I'm gonna send these back to him. They have less than, you know, 1,000 miles on them. He can probably resell them or keep them for another project. But let's get this one slid on and just reverse that process. One of the other things that we may have to take into consideration, obviously I'm gonna set these both the same on each side, but there's a pretty good chance, since we went to an aluminum block from a 5.3 iron block, that this thing's gonna set a little higher in the front, so we may have to bring this down. I don't know. We'll just have to see. I mean, I know there's obviously a weight difference between an aluminum and an iron block, but I'm just gonna kind of gauge where I wanna set this, where it's got some preload, and we'll just have to go from there. Got it back in place with the spacer. Don't forget your spacer down there. Tighten this up by hand up top, got the jam nut on it. Look, the factory spec I think is like 15 or 18 foot-pounds. Like I said, I just tightened this down with the wrench. And then as far as the bottom on the installation instructions, I think he said like 30 foot-pounds. It doesn't have to be crazy. It's just a bracket that holds the bottom. It's gonna swivel on that bracket. So both of these things can be tightened without the suspension loaded, which is nice. But as far as like getting my ride height setting, I'm gonna have to tweak with that once we get this thing running and off the lift. We'll just have to kind of mess with where we want it set. So for now, I may leave that bottom jam nut rolled back, and that'll just be something I have to remember before we take it out for a drive. Let me go knock the other side out real quick. Got it all snugged up, wheels back on the ground. So we will hopefully have this back in, I'm guessing, a week or so when it comes to circuit board metics. They have a quick turnaround, but I don't know how quick I'm gonna be ready for it. We are closing, or getting to an end, let's put it that way, on this thing. Once we get it tuned, which I will hopefully be able to take you, I'm hoping for a remote tune. And so hopefully I can take you guys on a ride with me when we get this thing actually dialed in. But in the next video, hopefully we'll have, or the next video on this, hopefully we'll either have a tune or that part back, or maybe both, and we can do that in one video. I know this video was kind of short, but I wanted to get those springs in while I had it on the lift. I wanted to get that ABS module out and repaired while I had it on the lift. And I wanted to make all this stuff happen because there's obviously tons of other projects that we need to get cranking on in here. And this was not in the cards. The plan was originally, like you know, to take the cam out, put a cam in, and go on about, you know, resealing some stuff and whatnot. So it wasn't swapping LS1 into it. But anyway, if you guys are enjoying the Tahoe project, go down there and hit that thumbs up button. Guys, if you are not subscribed, hit that subscribe button, ring that bell notification. That will notify you every time we drop a new video on this or anything else. Stay tuned to see what we work on next. Okay, I'm sure you thought this video was over, but a little bit of bad news that I just received. So the ABS module that I sent off to Circuit Board Metics that I removed here, they just called me and said, hey, we cannot rebuild that specific unit. So the problem is in these years, so like from the 99 to the 06 and 07 Classic models, they had like 10 different variants of that ABS controller. So mine happens to have traction control and ABS and some other features. And so it's not the one that they normally can rebuild. Now he did tell me, he's like, I can rebuild it, but my problem is I can't test it. And he said, I just don't like doing that. So props to them, because they're a stand-up company that would call you and not just throw something together and hope that it worked. They want to be able to test it when they're finished. So that leaves me waiting on it to get back, because I did not write any of the numbers off the side of that thing. So I need to get it back, write some of those numbers down, and then try to order a rebuilt one off of like eBay. I've got a couple saved that I think that it is, but there's some variance in the plug and the style. So yeah, I'm stuck waiting on it. But anyway, you guys will find out in the next video on this thing what we came up with.